today what we're learning about we've been learning about congruent triangles, right? And you guys have learned all the different congruent triangle shortcuts, right? You've learned like side, angle, 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 side, side, okay? And then you learn the special one, hypotenuse, leg, that only happens in right triangles, right? Okay, so today what you're going to be doing is you're going to be given a set of triangles, and some of the parts are already marked congruent. And what it wants you to do is it wants you to state what additional information is required in order to know that the triangles are congruent for this particular reason, okay? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to either list like a missing pair of angles that is congruent or a missing pair of sides that is congruent that will then make the triangles congruent for whatever reason they've given us. So take a look at the first example. In the first example, they've given us our reason is angle, angle, side. Okay? So, what information do we need to know in order to prove that these two triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side? Well, what did they give us already? Do you guys see the markings here? What do we have marked congruent already? A side, right? So I've already got a side marked congruent. Okay? So that means I've got a side marked congruent already. So what am I missing from this? I'm missing two what? Angles. Okay? So which angles would I need to know are congruent to be able to say this is congruent by angle, angle, side? Well, one thing I see right away in the picture is which angle, just by looking at the picture, am I actually given is congruent but is not actually marked? Okay, yeah, the vertical angles. So I know already that from this picture, these two angles are congruent. Even though they're not marked, that's given to me that angle B is congruent to itself, right? So I already have another angle already given to me, right? So since I've got an angle and a side given to me already, what I'm actually missing here is I'm actually missing the first angle, right? So I need to figure out which angle is the first angle that I'm missing. Is it this one or is it this one? If I go this one, that's angle, side, angle. Is that the one I'm missing? No. If I go this one, then it's angle, angle what? Side, okay? So this is the piece of information that I'm missing, okay? So because this one's missing, angle K here, okay? Now, which one would it correspond with in the other triangle? A, okay? Good. So how do I write my answer? Well, I just write my answer as these two angles. I need to know they're congruent in order to say the whole triangle is congruent by angle, angle, side. So I would say the missing piece of information is angle A is congruent to angle K. The reason why my answer is two angles is because that was the missing part, right? When I went through the picture and I looked at what they had already given me, they'd already given me a side, and they'd already also given me vertical angles. So the only other thing missing was this other angle, okay? Which is angle A and angle K. Does everyone understand why I'm not listing angle M and angle C? Does everyone understand that? Yeah? Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Okay, what is the congruence theorem it wants us to use for this triangle? What does HL mean? Hypotenuse leg, okay? So, I have two right triangles here. What other information do I know just from looking at the picture? I don't see anything marked, but what do I know just from looking at the picture? They share a common side. So let's mark their common side congruent, okay? I can go ahead and mark that that common side is congruent to itself, right? Okay, is that common side the hypotenuse or is it the leg for those triangles? The leg. So I already have the leg. So what's the missing piece of information that I need to know is congruent? The hypotenuse, okay? So let's highlight where is the hypotenuse for both triangles. The hypotenuse would be here, and where else? Here. I need to know, bless you, I need to know that those two sides are congruent, okay? So, my missing information is going to be segment. What do you guys want to call this segment over here? You want to call it EL or LE? EL, okay? So, segment EL. If I call that one EL, what do I have to call the other one? Okay, look at where E is. E is where the yellow is starting, and it's going in the direction to the pink. So over here, where is the yellow starting? And going in the direction of pink would be M. So to segment NM. Okay? So that's my missing piece of information, that the two hypotenuse should be congruent. Okay? Does that make sense there? Does it make sense why in this one I named angles? Because I was missing an angle. And in this one I named a side because a hypotenuse is not an angle. It's a side, right? Okay, let's go to problem number 3. Okay. What congruence method does it want us to use in this one? Angle, side, angle. Okay. What have they already given you in this picture? 2 angles, right? I have this angle here. It's marked already congruent with this one here. Okay, and then I have this one over here being marked congruent with this one right here. So I have my 2 angles. I'm going to check those off. So if I have my 2 angles, what am I actually missing? A side. Now, the side that I'm missing, which side is it? Is it this side? Is it this side? Or is it that side? That side. Okay, it's the side that is between the 2 angles, right? Okay, so let's highlight that missing side and highlight its corresponding side in the other angle, or the other triangle. Okay, so now, what am I going to call this side? Do you guys want to call it WX or XW? WX. So I need to know, in order to prove these are congruent, that WX is congruent to, now if I called this one WX, what am I going to call the other one? HI. I need to know those segments are congruent. Okay. All right, let's look at the last one. What have they given you already that's congruent in the last one? 2 sides, right? Those ones. What else? These ones. What congruence method does it want? Okay, so what am I missing? They gave me 2 sides. What am I missing? The final side, right? This one's not that hard to tell, right? What's the only side left? That one and that one, right? So what am I going to write down for my final side? Segment IK. If I call that one IK, look at where I started. I started where the green was. IK is congruent to what? CE. Okay. Are there any questions on anything that we did here? Any questions at all? No? Okay.